Welcome, Power Partners. This is the informational barnyard, the playground of Starstyle, Be the Star You Are. We're coming to the airwaves under the auspices of Be the Star You Are charity, and we are broadcasting on Voice America Media. This is the Empowerment Channel. So thank you very much for joining in. In today's show, we will be discussing ways to relax because people are always saying that they need to relax, but they don't know how. And I have some good grounding and breathing tips that I can give you, along with some other ways just to take time to kind of smell the roses. And then, speaking of smelling the roses, part of what makes scent a powerful sense is how differently the brain processes it compared to other senses. So I will be discussing that, how you can luxuriate in your sense of smell. The miracle moment for today is brought to you by Be the Star You Are charity. Visit bethestaryouare.org. This is from President John F. Kennedy. The highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. That's something I think that people definitely can live by. So we have to give appreciation for everything. Before I go on to our theme for today, though, I wanted to address the cyclosporasis crisis. You know that this crazy diarrhea that is happening. I mean, since I'm a gardener, I'm not so worried about it because I'm buying my own stuff. I'm growing my own vegetables, but this cyclospora outbreak that has fruit and vegetable lovers nationwide in a frenzy is really pretty scary. We're not supposed to be panicking, is what we're told. So I want to just bring you some of this news because there are some ways that you can reduce your risk, and you just really don't want that parasite. It's very unpleasant. So, first of all, you might be wondering what it really is. Cyclosporiasis is it's a sciencey name. It's a foodborne illness. It's a gastrointestinal disease that's caused by these microscopic parasites called cyclospora. And it really spreads through contaminated food and water. Definitely more common in the summer, like May through beginning of September, with symptoms that include diarrhea and nausea and decreased appetite and a lot of stomach pain, other GI symptoms, and it can last from a few days to a month, depending on the illness. But the reason that it happens, people are like, why is it happening? And that's because some of these fruits and vegetables are either grown in areas where human feces are or that are watered with human feces and that has this disease in it. Now the foods that are most prone, the fruits and veggies are like raspberries, cabbage, basil, cilantro, parsley, broccoli, snow peas, sugar snap peas, and all leafy greens. And I guess it's really been found a lot in iceberg lettuce. And that's because these specific fruits and vegetables, they have ridges in them, and that's where the parasite hides. Now, their outer layers aren't typically removed, so that makes them more carriers. Now, if you get out, iceberg lettuce, if you remove the outside lettuce, 2 or 3 layers, you're usually probably okay. And right now, it is the iceberg lettuce that has this outbreak in over 27 states. And even though we rinse underwater or we soak in water to remove dirt and bacteria and other parasites, this particular cyclosporidiosis is a little bit difficult because the cyclospora parasite has a real tough outer shell and it clings to those tiny crevices on a plant surface that resist the standard methods of washing and disinfecting. And, all those things you see online, all those special washer, I don't know, there's these things that you stick in and it supposedly cleans everything. They don't work. That doesn't clean it either. The only way to get rid of it is besides taking off the layers, is to cook it. And it has to be at least in 158 degrees. Freezing won't do it because a home freezer isn't cold enough to kill the parasite. So, probably for right now, avoid iceberg lettuce, even though it's really good on hamburgers and stuff, and continue to wash your fruits and vegetables. I would say put them in like a bowl, scrub them with a firmly for, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds, but then maybe soak them for a little bit. Again, discard any outer leaves of lettuce and then cook any fruits or vegetables when appropriate. And then one of the big things is to continue washing your hands both before and after handling any fresh produce. Although washing can't always remove the cyclospora, it can help reduce the risk of any other foodborne illness. And it is a scary, it's definitely scary because there's so many foodborne illnesses that are happening right now. And we don't know who to believe because it seems like the FDA and the Centers for Disease Control and, our politicians, they're all a little wacko right now. So they're not really giving us the good information. So just remember to have good safety handling practices and stay informed as the situation continues to evolve. And hopefully, you'll be okay. But I just feel badly for people who have had this exploding diarrhea. Oh, it sounds terrible. Now, let's just get to some ways to relax because so many of us, we want to relax, but we don't know how to. So, one of the things I've said it many times that I do every single morning, literally within the first half hour of getting up in the morning, is I do a very quick meditation, no more than 15 or 20 minutes. I do it outside in nature, and it helps me a lot. And if you just take a few moments at whatever time of the day works for you to be aware of all your gifts, your talents, your strengths, your resources, and give gratitude for them. I wrote the book Be the Star You Are, 99 Gifts for Living, Loving, Laughing, and Learning to Make a Difference to illustrate that all of us, no matter who we are, have gifts. And we need to be aware of them. So if you don't, I have people that when I'm coaching, they come to me and they go, "I don't have any talents." And of course you do. Every single person does. So it's probably time to make a list of them. And you don't have to show it to anybody. You can put it on your computer or your iPad or your phone or whatever you do, or just handwrite it. You can make a drawing of them if you want, but you should probably describe it. You can color them. You can make a symbol for them. I mean, everybody has a gift, whether it is the gift of speaking, of friendship, of honesty, whatever it is. We all have certain things that we're really good at. Maybe you are a really caring person. That's a gift. So think about how these gifts came to you and how you became aware that you had been entrusted with this and how you use it to empower other people. Where do you carry your gifts? Are they in your mind, your heart, your body, your spirit? Are you nurturing, developing your gifts? Are you appreciating them? Are you sharing them? Think about it. If you are experiencing stresses associated with your gifts, you really need to tune in to your own awareness of the effect of your gifts and how they are on you. Like, for example, if you are very organized or you're a person that's always on time, that's a gift. But it could also be a stress because, maybe we can never be too organized, or maybe we're running late in traffic. And so the gift of being on time may becomes a stressor. So there's a lot of dimensions of ourselves as human beings. We're spiritual beings, we're mental beings, we're physical beings. And this is a good time to be aware, to acknowledge, to affirm all our experiences and be gentle with yourself because this is an awareness experience and we are the hardest and we're the most critical of ourselves. So, do you have a vision for your life, for the reason that you are living? Do you know who you really are? We have to be honest and truthful with our selves and with the gifts that we possess. In other words, sing our own praises. That is not ego. Honor your own path. Honor your journey because no one else has the same pattern of gifts that you do. So you just want to allow yourself to experience your thoughts, emotions, and concerns about your processes and about your progress and about your destinations. Now, I really believe in celebrations, and you want to celebrate your gifts, your talents, celebrate everything that you have, and surround it with love. Affirm with yourself some ways in which you are, even right now, taking steps to use, to show, develop, believe in, enjoy, and otherwise honor these gifts that have been bestowed upon you, and that you have the ability and responsibility of sharing them with others. Now, when you want to get relaxed about this, once you've discovered your gifts and your talents, let's ground ourselves. One way to do it is to sit erect, close your eyes, focus your attention on the area at the base of your spine. So while I'm saying this, maybe you can try this simple meditation. Feel your feet relax and stretch so that you can allow some more energy to flow through them. In fact, as I'm talking to you now, I'm wiggling my toes. And then take a deep breath in. And when you exhale, imagine that you are pumping that breath powerfully down through your legs, out your feet, into the earth. And then every time you inhale, feel yourself drawing in positive energy from deep within the earth and fill your whole being with its vitality. This is a wonderful, very simple grounding exercise. You can do it anywhere while you're standing in line at the supermarket. Easy. Another one is to make conscious some of your inner strengths. So within yourself, you can name some strengths that you've been aware of in the past. Again, I call these strengths your gifts. Ask yourself to imagine a series of doors with the name of one of those gifts or strengths printed on it. And then ask yourself to open the door one at a time. And what do you see? And stay with each discovery as long as you like. And this is a good one, I think, to do in the morning because it kind of preps you for what you're going to be doing for the rest of the day. Now, breathing, your breath is like the most crucial thing of all this. We have to learn to do those deep belly breaths, which is, right before below your diaphragm. Find yourself in a fairly quiet place. You might want to just do this in your bedroom and get comfortable. If you're lying down, and I think this is a good one to do in bed because sometimes you don't want to get out of bed right away. Just elevate your legs a little bit. By bending your knees, you might support your neck with the pillow. The one thing not to do is do not cross your arms or legs because whenever you cross anything on your body, you're stopping the flow of energy. So close your eyes and breathe in slowly and breathe out slowly. It's like in one, two, three, four, and then exhale one, two, three, four. And again, as I said, breathe from your belly. It's like a baby where your belly gets big. And each time you breathe out, feel yourself getting more relaxed and be aware of your own special feeling of relaxation. You might feel a little bit, light. You might feel weightless. You might even feel heavy, but this is why I like to do this when I am lying down. You can even lie on the floor. I also always have my students lie on the floor and make sure their arms and legs are out. So, and as you breathe, let your imagination take you to a place you remember as very peaceful and pleasant. And while you're in that place, in your mind's eye, look around and listen to the sounds. Notice the smells, feel the air. Stay with it as long as you can. Are you eating anything or are people clapping? Is this a really happy place? And then when you are ready to end that relaxation exercise, count silently just from 1 to 3. And on 1, move your lower body, and that might be just, wiggle your toes and maybe your legs. On 2, kind of shake your shoulders. And on 3, breathe in deeply, open your eyes, and as you breathe out slowly, you might want to just say to yourself, I am relaxed and I am alert. And that's another very simple relaxation exercise. Now, if you want to get your body pumped up, because after we relax and we're kind of grounded, then we do have to get our energy pumping because most of us have very, very busy, stressful days. And you don't want to be down and so quiet. When you start your day, you want to be more, more enthusiastic. So to get your body moving, you could turn on the music, you could dance around, you could jump rope, you could pretend to jump rope, you could take a swim, or if you have a pool, run around in your pool. Yeah, for me, I like to go out in the garden or go out on nature, go on a hike. Maybe you want to paint or run or jog. Singing is a great thing. You can sing crazy, you can sing in the shower. I like to sing in the car. You can, throw a pillow, stamp on egg cartons because they make that fun sound. But whatever you do, you want to decide you're going to have fun for the rest of the day and you're going to keep your energy up and your body and mind relaxed. Well, I hope those are a couple of exercises and a little meditation that will help you have a stressless day because we don't want to hold the stress in our body, mind, or our spirit. It's so much better if we are enjoying our gifts and living in the moment. You're listening to Cynthia Brian. This is Star Style. Be the star you are. When we come back from break, we are going to talk about how we can kind of stop and smell the roses. It's a little bit more of relaxation. So don't go away. Mistakes are inevitable. It's what you do with them that matters. Here's an acronym from Failing Forward that helps keep mistakes in perspective. We're going to use all the letters of the word mistakes. So M is messages that give us feedback about life. I is interruptions that should cause us to reflect and think. S is signposts that direct us to the right path. T is for tests that push us towards greater maturity. A is for awakenings that keep us in the game mentally. K is for keys that we can use to unlock the next door of opportunity. E is for explorations that let us journey where we've never been before. S is for statements about our development and progress. Look for ways to praise your team's members' mistakes and turn them into opportunities to help your team learn from them today. You may end up realizing that mistakes, mistakes, are often more valuable than perfection. Remember, you're the star of your own performance. Turn your passions into profits. I'm Cynthia Brian with another business bite from Starstyle. For more information, visit cynthiabrian.com. Well, you're listening to Star Style, Be the Star You Are. I call this our playground. Well, today it's kind of our garden of relaxation and meditation. And you know how much I love gardening and being in nature. So I like to say to stop and smell the flowers, right? We've always heard stop and smell the roses. I mean, whoever first suggested stopping to smell the roses, they really knew what they were talking about because not all roses do smell good to all people, right? But it's our response to scent is very deeply personal and it's shaped by memory, culture, and even genetics. I mean, you can probably stop and think about being at your grandmother's house, and maybe it was her cookies, or maybe it was her daffodils that you can remember. Smell is a very important thing, but what matters more than what you sniff is figuring out which smells will resonate with you and which are going to help you feel more relaxed. Because deliberately sniffing something is almost like an act of a mini protest. I mean, we call them smellscapes, right? It's like going to just look at something and actually going to bend down and smell it. People are going to look at you kind of crazily, probably if you walk down a sidewalk and you're smelling everything. But when you do, here's the scientific thing that happens, and this is why I recommend that you do some smell catching. And that is when you smell things, your heart rate slows, your nervous system shifts, and your mood lifts because smell is the oldest of our sensory systems, and it evolved long before the cortex, the brain structure that's responsible for rational thought, was ever developed. And part of what makes scent so powerful is how differently the brain processes it compared with other senses. Now, mood change is one of the more common effects of smelling something. It can have a direct impact on emotions than any other sense. Have you ever smelled lavender? It's very relaxing. You smell roses, and it depends what kind of rose it is because it could be invigorated, it could be more perfumey. You smell a narcissi, and oh, that is such a sweet smell. But for me, smelling flowers is what makes me so happy. But again, it could be cookies. It could be those chocolate chip cookies. It could be a cake. It could be being in the mountains and smelling the evergreens. When you inhale, what happens is odor molecules bind to receptors in your nose, and those travel to the olfactory bulb in your brain. And unlike touch, or on like hearing, or even like vision, which all pass through a relay station called the thalamus before we're conscious of them, smell skips all that. It skips that step and it connects straight to the limbic system. And that is the brain's emotional center, and that's where memories live. So that's how we can tap into our power of scent at home and our memories. So here are a few things that you could do. So first is to luxuriate in scent for like 30 seconds. There is a difference between a passing sniff and an intentional one. Spend at least 30 seconds actually calming your system down and really inhaling and thinking about it. 30 seconds isn't a long time, but it's possibly more time than most people give it. So if you see a beautiful flower, like I didn't know that magnolias smell so divine. And I can see now why the bees are flocking to them. And I put my nose in my big magnolia flower, and it was just heavenly. The next thing is to try what we call smell catching in your neighborhood. And that is go on a smell walk. With my acting students, we did this a lot is we would just break into groups. We'd go down a walking path and we'd really pay attention to anything that we could smell, whether it was a leaf or a fruit or a flower. And just by walking slowly and waiting for the scents to come to us, then we could discuss what they were. We could inhale deeply and whatever it was that caught your attention. So challenge yourself, get low, get close, and engage with your environment, kind of like animals do, how they smell everything. And then rotate your scents by your mood. There are sweet scents, powdery scents, floral scents. I already told you about lavender and rose, but when I say powdery, I mean, think about baby powder. I really love the smell of baby powder. What about citrus or pine or mint? There are cooling scents that you might really like, I mean, I really do like the smell of limes. I think they smell so great, and lemons. If you want more pungent, what about garlic or onions? Now, all these different scents, they have an effect on your nervous system. And that can shift your mood because it's part of the touch system in your body and it happens through your nose. So when you smell something that's strong enough, it is going to activate both the smell system and also other touch systems that cause sensations that might be arousing for you. So choose the scent based on whatever headspace you're in. I mean, when I smell garlic and onions cooking, I always think of my mom and my nana's cooking, and it reminds me of home. and delicious meals and family talk. So those are smells I like. When I go to the sea, I just love the smell of the sea. Now, these might not be your things. Those scents might not be good, for you. Like I love cilantro. Some people absolutely detest cilantro because there's something in them that really triggers a negative scent for them. And then, the really good thing about it is when you're smelling things, you're most likely going to bend down and smell the narcissus, as I said, and don't do it with your phone. Digitally, you can't transmit a smell. So switch off your screen. You really have to engage with the outside world to be able to get the best experience from it. And it's about not trying to rationalize all the time, but actually responding to what nature has out there, whether it's an oak leaf or a pine leaf, whatever it is. I was pulling out some mint today because mint just grows like crazy. And now, right now, my hands all smell like mint, even though I was wearing gloves. And I really love the smell. And then pay attention to what changes because smell is also a health signal and it shifts in how things smell to you. Like a sudden loss of scent, remember it happened during COVID, can be an early indicator of illnesses. And you would need to tell your doctor if you lose your sense of smell. You could have a head injury. You might, I don't hope this on anyone, but Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease usually begin with a loss of smell. Or it could just be, a run of the mill, a cold or some kind of sinus infection. It could be anything. But the point is, if you lose your sense of smell, make sure that you tell your doctor. And the other thing is when we eat, we usually smell the food first. And if it smells really good, we're more apt to enjoy it and eat it. So smell is a very, very important sense. And our flowers can give us such joy and really, really enhance our sense of smell and help us to relax. So that's the show for today. Make sure you're tuned in here to Starstyle, Be the Star You Are, with me, Cynthia Brian, every week right here on Voice America Media. This is the Empowerment Channel. For more information about Starstyle Productions, which produces the show, or to purchase any of my 12 books, please visit cynthiabrian.com. To make a donation to the charity, Be the Star You Are, or to get involved with the charity and volunteer, please go to bethestaryouare.org. As always, my aim is to encourage, inspire, inform, amuse, and motivate. We always want you to see beyond your physical being, know you are already the star you dreamed of becoming, cherish the past, dream of the future, and celebrate every moment of your life. And until we play next week in the Star Style Playground, remember that love always wins, kindness always prevails, and smiles will keep us happy. My name is Cynthia Brian for Star Style, thanking you, encouraging you to be kind, inclusive, tell the truth, live with integrity, embrace cultures, love unconditionally, encourage others, be generous, read, lead, succeed, communicate, collaborate, innovate. And of course, most of all, be your unapologetically authentic self. Believe in your gifts, honor your gifts, well, discover your gifts. Everyone counts. Go out into the world and be the star you are. Make it a fantastic week. Enjoy the rest of summer. And if you're back in school, be safe and have a wonderful school year. Thanks for